We're not the richest city in the country. We're far from it. We're one of the poorest. Yet we got the highest taxes in the country.
This has got to come to an end.
The most dangerous city in Connecticut.
This is not why I ran for office.
You can't afford to live anywhere else.
Who do you represent in this community?
We are not truly a great nation until all of us are strong.
Take that flag down at the front of City Hall that says All-American City. Who do you think you are fooling?
Early morning hours of Thursday, June 11th, 9 people were shot and 1 killed in the Trumbull Gardens housing project.
I thought it was firecrackers, but then I heard people screaming.
I just heard a bunch of gunshots. I just saw everybody running, a bunch of chaos. I knew something really bad happened.
Let's just bow our heads in a moment of silence and just think for peace, for the families, for the victims, for this community, for this city.
This is not an isolated incident. These things are happening up here every other week.
I can go down the list, name by name, cousin by cousin, person by person. And I haven't seen too much done.
These shootings in Bridgeport made local and national headlines, but at the root of the violence is failed public policy and problems that are systemic in urban areas across the United States.
We need more public officials to come out and see what's going on and see what needs to be changed.
We need more freaking cars on the road.
Oh, I know. No, and you know I get that. I'd have everybody up here walking.
Well, we don't have anybody.
I know.
We don't have anybody who wants to pay.
They don't want to hire.
And I think that the delegation from Bridgeport, the governor, and the mayor of the city of Bridgeport should be charged with neglect.
These shootings allow for voices to be heard, but when the cameras are turned off and people leave neighborhoods like Trumbull Gardens, what solutions are there?
There is certainly not a feeling with a couple thousand people or so that I've actually physically touched or talked to that it's not a city that works for everyone, that people don't feel a part of it and are not included.
In national news outlets, Mayor Finch and U.S. Senator Richard Blumenthal made the shootings an issue about federal gun laws and not about the problems pointed out by community members.
The citizens of Bridgeport are tired for paying for national inaction on illegal guns. We need to do a much better job in this country controlling illegal weapons.
It begs the question, is the loss of another human life a chance at political theater or real pragmatic solutions?
Despite today, we've had an overall drop in crime of about 18%, and this is about the lowest crime rate we've had in nearly a half century.
The backdrop of 9 individuals getting shot in the city, 1 dead, and saying crime is down. To me, that shows a complete insensitivity to what's going on in the streets and neighborhoods in the city.
We've been having community meetings talking about no place for our kids to play, the lack of police presence.
And what we really need is a vision for Trumbull Gardens. Not just Steel Point, but a vision for Trumbull Gardens.
As the city and the media was consumed with the shooting inside Trumbull Gardens, the business of politics and a campaign for mayor continued.
This city is on the way up. After decades of broken promises, construction is finally happening at Steel Point.
We need to do something in the city of Bridgeport. We need to change this. We need to make it a Bridgeport that works for everyone, that's inclusive. We need somebody that understands the challenges, that's been there, and can get the job done.
Lenny Grimaldi has been covering Bridgeport as a journalist and writer for more than 30 years. He also has worked for both Bill Finch and Joe Ganim and understands how each approach the management of a city.
Those two sit down. Ganim wants to talk about practical politics. Bill wants to talk about public policy. They're two very, very different things. What you're seeing right now is this collision course between passion and progress. Is it going to be the Ganim passion that wins out, or is it going to be the Finch progress that wins out?
In the United States, running for public office has become an economic transaction that requires deep pockets and the branding expertise of Madison Avenue.
These things tend to be won on paid media, but that's why money is so important, because when you have money, you can control your own narrative, you control your own message.
In the 2016 race for president, it is estimated that the potential candidates will spend close to $100 million to even get elected. In the race for the mayor of Bridgeport, the monetary stakes are a bit lower.
The financial support is critical. it allows us to get our message out. But I will tell you this here and now, it'll allow us to respond to their message.
Joe needs probably about $200,000 to really do what he needs to do to try to persuade voters to bring him back. By the time the primary rolls around, Finch will probably have $500,000 or more.
With the opening of the Ganim headquarters in early June, the next key phase of the campaign will come down to securing votes from the Democratic Town Committee.
On July 21st, the 90 members of the Democratic Town Committee will come together to endorse a candidate for mayor.
I do know that there's enough that he doesn't have it and I don't have it at this point. But I have a substantial amount of committed support, and I'm sure he has a substantial amount of committed support.
In an editorial in the Connecticut Post, Ganim outlined some of his political agenda and pointed out the positives of the work he did for the city when he was mayor.
I held the line on taxes, that's my tax record, not to come. That I did improve the quality of education in the schools where he's challenged and decimated the schools. The development projects that he's taken credit for were my projects.
As the campaign hit its stride, Ganim hit the north end of Bridgeport to go door to door to not only register voters, but to introduce the idea of his run for mayor.
I got a good track record on the good stuff. I mean, nobody else kept the taxes down for 10 years.
That's right.
Nobody did.
Certainly there's a redemption story in this, but once you get past the redemption story, which may be my story and the city's story in many ways, it's really about people that want a better quality of life. And it's going to be, what is Joe Ganim going to do for the city of Bridgeport?
With Ganim going on the offensive, the question remains, what will Finch's campaign run on?
Their message is not going to be about the good things that they've done over the past 8 years, because frankly, there isn't a lot. It's going to be about knock down and tear down the kind of negative politics that I think we all despise.
To date, the only public strategy has been to harken back to Ganim's past, but how long will the citizens of Bridgeport listen to the same campaign rhetoric? Next time on City Wars, with staffing levels at the Bridgeport Police Department dangerously low, what does that mean for officers on the street and the safety of the city? Ganim's relationship with the police union has offered a rare glimpse into what law enforcement is struggling with and what they need from the next mayor.